Okay, I'm getting ready to install my cabinet shelving. So I'm putting in 2 shelves, and I'm going to use this. This is red oak, and it's a little weathered because I had it stored outside when I was in my other old marina that I was in. So at any rate, this is going to hold the shelving up. So these are going to have to be attached to the walls of the cabinet. So at any rate, I got to figure out how high the shelves, the distance and spacing of the shelves are going to be. I'd kind of like to be able to put my vacuum cleaner down here in the very bottom of this cabinet. I don't know if it's going to fit. I'll have to see if I can make this work. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vacuum cleaner and stick it down in there and see how much room I have. That would mean the middle shelf would have to go here. And I want to be able to get stuff in here. No, that's not going to work. So I think I'm going to want the middle shelf farther down. So I'll probably have to maybe get a smaller vacuum cleaner if I want to store it down in here. I'm trying to kind of consider different items that'll fit. Like this will not fit unless I lower it down. And it'd be nice to keep light stuff up high, so I think I'm going to try bringing this down a little bit until that fits in there. So you kind of got to consider when you're doing stuff like this what you're going to be storing and how big it is. I could squish this in there if I had to, but I'm going to go a little bit lower on my top shelf. Okay, this will work. I can put paper towels up there. Now these won't fit. There's no way. But these are heavy. I want them down low anyway. So now I want to measure again from the bottom. So let's say probably about like here. Yeah. All right. A little extra space here. Matter of fact, I'm going to go up a little, just be on the safe side. I think like that. And now this should give me plenty of room here. Yeah. Okay, that looks good. So I'll have a shelf here in the middle for smaller stuff. And I can put like canned goods in here. Should fit okay, I would think. Yeah, I can put canned goods in here. They're heavy, and I kind of like to keep that stuff down low, but I can put stuff in that I'm cooking and getting to a lot. Like, let's say, well, I got a spice rack, but I don't have to put spices in here, but stuff like this will fit. And I think that's it right there. So I'll be able to put paper towels and stuff on top. Yep. And okay, so that's going to be where they're going to go. So I studied drafting in high school, 4 years of drafting. Today it's called engineering. They don't call it drafting anymore. But I got a real good eye for things being level and parallel and square. And if anything's off just by a fraction of an inch, it drives me crazy. So I got to try to make this as straight as possible. Yeah, or it'll drive me nuts. So, and I don't have a level. Of course, levels on a boat. What's level on a boat, you know? So, any rate, so now I gotta figure out where the lines are going to be against the back wall and the side walls here to, so I can put in this red oak to hold the shelves up. So, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is all going to be made out of wood and wood screws. So if it's off a little bit, I can always adjust it and move it around. So that's one good thing about it. And then the red oak, you won't be able to see it because the cabinet's going to be sitting on top. So red oak looks really nice if you sand it down, clean it up, sand it down, and varnish it. It looks really, really nice. But you're not going to really be able to see it unless you squat down and look under here with probably a light. And so I'm just going to paint everything. I'm going to make the shelves today, get them in, make sure that they fit where they need to go. And then I can take the shelves off. They're just going to lift right out. And then I'm going to paint everything. Paint the shelves, paint inside here, patch up any holes, and paint it all white. And then, like I was saying in my earlier video, I'm going to put different color LEDs in here, so I can change the color. And the thing which I either like teak wood or white. And the reason I like white is because if you're going to use LED lighting, the white wall, you know, if it's walls or ceiling or whatever it is, cabinet, if it's white, that white turns the color of the light. So the wall will turn green if it's green light, it'll turn red if it's a red light. So that's why I like white. And another thing about white color in a galley, like people put in, they put in granite, some of it's real dark and stuff. I like white countertops. And the reason for that is that, heaven forbid, if you ever get cockroaches, they leave droppings, and you can see it if it's white. If you have dark granite and you have cockroaches, you're not going to see it. So I like white because you know the surface is clean in the galley. And so at any rate, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take the white tape off now. I got to put in the red oak that's going to hold the shelves up. I got to get those in, make sure they're straight. So I got to cut them down, make sure they're in straight, and screw them into the walls, and then I can start cutting and measuring and cutting the shelves. I'm going to use this this piece of electrical conduit, plastic electrical conduit. Okay. Make sure I got it where it needs to go. Okay. Okay, right there. I think we're good. It's not rolling, so that's how I'm determining that it's level. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here, screw it into the wall. I think that's good enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to drill the rest of the holes, or at least one more, so it'll stay put. So I'm going to go back to the small drill bit. I like to take the screw and check the depth. So I like a little bare wood on the very tip that is not drilled. There's not a hole when the screw goes in. When the last little bit goes into undrilled wood, so it really bites in. I'm going to go ahead and put these in next. So they just have to go in like this. Screw up against the wall. One here, one here. Then I got to figure out what I'm going to do on this side. Okay, what I'm going to do to keep this from moving around, I'm going to use some of my blue masking tape, the 2-inch wide masking tape, and tape this up here. See if that'll sit there while I get the tape. because I don't want it to move. It won't be level if I drill it wrong. So I think I'm just going to try taping this up and hold it in place, at least kind of help me hold it there. So I'm using this blue tape as reference as to where that's going to go, and so I just need to make sure it's lined up good. That looks good right there. So if I can do this without it falling. So now I'm just going to carefully drill this middle hole and then screw it in. Try to get the drill bit right in the center. Looks like it moved on me. I'll find out when I get the screw in there. Perfect. Okay. Take this tape off. I don't need that. Okay, there we go. Looks good. Perfect. So it's 8 inches and 1/4, 8 1/4, and 8 1/4, 8 1/4, 8 1/4. It's interesting how a dream can affect your whole day. I had this dream last night, and I kept telling myself, oh, I hope it's a dream, I hope it's a dream. But in the dream, I kept telling myself, this is not a dream, this is real. This is real, this is not a dream. In my dream, I was telling myself this. Then I woke up and it was just a dream. So, yeah, I feel good today. It was just a dream. I have this old model ship I've been building since I was 15 years old, still not done. USS Constitution, sailing ship, square rigger. And I have recurring dreams that I bump into it and break it and smash it up, and I wake up and it turns out it was just a dream. And it's just like, oh, I'm glad that was a dream. I don't know why I keep dreaming about that ship. It's real fragile, and I need to get it finished. And all I got to do is put the running rigging on now. I got everything else pretty much done, but it's still going to be a lot of work to get it done. But I got too much work to do on this real boat here. So when I get most of the work done on this, and I might get back to that and finally get it done and then put it in a good safe place behind glass or whatever. The plywood that I have for the shelves are 2 feet by 2 feet. So I'm going to have to cut them down to fit in here. I'm going to have to come in here with my Dremel tool. I'm going to have to do that next. Damn it. I hate to have to do this. It's got to be removed. Yeah, it's got to be done. That's my next thing. Wonder if I can use my little saw. I've got this little hand saw. It may work. I got this little hand saw here, and I'd almost rather do that than my Dremel, because whenever you're cutting with a Dremel tool, especially plastic, it creates microparticles, and I didn't realize this when I first got it. And I used to do a lot of cutting plastic, and I'd cut PVC pipe with it instead of using a PVC pipe cutter, which just clamps down and has a blade that slices it. Absolutely no sawdust, but a Dremel tool kicks up a lot of dust, and the dust is super fine, and you don't want to breathe that stuff. So one thing about saws like this, old-fashioned, they make sawdust, but they don't make real fine particles like a Dremel tool does. So there's this piece of it's fiberglass with the just a little sheet of fiberglass that he either made or found, And he put it in here. It's right behind my panel here. And because masts always leak, you can seal them up, but you know, eventually they're going to start leaking again. So, because all the movement, you know, when you're sailing, and it's just all the stress and forces on it. So he put this little piece of sheet of, I think it feels like plastic, but I think it's fiberglass. And he put it behind this panel here, so in case the mizzen mast leaks, which it does a little bit, and that's something I need to fix. So it won't get the electrical panel wet. I love the electrical panel where it's at here. It's super convenient. The only problem is it's by the companionway doorway, and you don't want them to get wet. And so this is really a bad location as far as getting wet. It's a great location for convenience. It's so easy to get to going in and out of the boat. When I'm leaving, I can shut the power off, come back, turn the power on. In the dark, I can turn the lights on. And it's right here. But I'll probably end up putting plexiglass cover over this. That's what you usually do when it's in this location here by the companionway, so to keep the rainwater off of it. So I haven't really had a problem with it getting wet, but of course when you get out in the ocean and you got big waves crashing over the boat and really heavy seas, yeah, water will probably get onto it, and being salt water, super corrosive, and electrical systems and water don't mix, especially salt water, because it's so corrosive. So I'm going to have to cut this out because it's in the way of my shelves. So I'm going to see if I can cut it by hand here and just eyeball it. I may have to crawl in this cabinet to do this. I hate crawling in here. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll try that. So I'm going to try crawling in. If you're planning on getting a boat, you might want to take yoga lessons. Because you pretty much have to be a contortionist to deal with stuff. Oh God, here we go again. Oh, ouch. It's a little tight in the crotch area.